Sometimes clients can be real slippery and real vague when you're trying to understand their real issues. So how do you figure out what clients really want? 3-step process coming up in this video. Stay tuned. Hey, it's Alzay Calhoun with Coveted Consultant. In this video, I want to walk through a 3-step framework to help you figure out what your clients really want. But before I go through the framework, I want to make a few assumptions clear. I'm making the assumption that you've already done the basic research. So, I mean, you've got established expertise in a certain field, and you already have a basic understanding of where clients are basically having troubles, right? So once you've done you've got that basic structure in place, then you can dig a bit deeper. So when we're thinking about what your client really wants, let's start at the beginning. They don't know. They don't know what they really want, and that's why you're there. So they know that they've got a certain issue or a challenge in a certain part of their business, be it technology, be it marketing, be it strategy, be it something else. So that's why they invited you into a conversation, because you are an expert in technology or strategy or something else. So they're looking for a conversation. They do not know what they want, because if they were very clear on their problem and the solution, they'd be fixing it already. So they're engaging with you because they don't know. So your job in the conversation is to figure out the pain versus the decision. And here's what I mean. There is a core pain that your client or prospective client is going through. There's a what. Somewhere in the business, there is a specific issue, a specific challenge, and your job is to figure out what that is. Then your job is to figure out who has that pain. So because the business is going through a certain inefficiency, who in the business is suffering the most? Somebody at their desk is pulling out their hair. Somebody at their desk is sending 100 emails a day or receiving 100 emails a day. Somebody in their daily operation is having meeting on meeting on meeting because they are overwhelmed by whatever pain point is in the business. Your job is to figure out not just what the problem is, but who specifically in that business has that problem. Now, part B of this is you've got to figure out what major decision has to be made. So is it about budget? Is it about team size? Is it about scope of project, etc.? What's the major decision has to be made, and who makes that decision? So you may be in a situation and working with your client where all this is found within one person. You're talking to the CEO or the owner of the business, and they have the pain point, and they also make the major decision. They make the final approval. Okay. There are some situations where these things happen in two different places, where you've got one functional area of the business that has the actual problem, and then there's another functional area that actually doles out the money, where the check is actually written. So there's another person that has to make this decision, which, by the way, they have their own pain. So you've got the functional area that has its pain, and that's who you be dealing with in order to solve the problem in the business. But then there's another area of the business that has to write that check, and they have to justify why that check is written and what value they get in return. You've got to make sure that you clearly understand their situation too. So this becomes the meat of your interaction early on with your clients. The pain, the decision. What is the pain? Who's got the pain? What is the major decision? And who owns that decision? Then in that third step, you've got to ask yourself an honest question. Can you excel at solving this issue? Is your business, do you have the time, the people, and the money ready to go to solve this issue? Are you and your team fully trained up to solve and deal with this issue? Your value here is a direct function of your honesty here. So if you do have the time, the people, the money, and you're ready to go, then you can make it very plain to your client. We understand the issue. We are ready to take action. Do you want to take action? But if you're not 100% sure, if you aren't high level sure that you can solve this issue, then you've got to be honest, and you've got to be okay with walking away. You've got to be okay with telling your client, I think we understand this issue about 80%. This is not something that we specialize in. It's better if you go to this person, this place, this resource, this location or whatever. But we are not your best solution here. That honesty makes you a valuable partner. They will come back to you again to better understand another issue or to have something else solved, whatever does fit in your niche. If you get this wrong, you may very well say yes to a client and begin to work together for a problem you do not quite understand. And as the scope gets bigger and bigger, your checks might not get bigger and bigger. So you bid on some business, but as the scope increases, because you didn't quite understand it, it's bigger than you thought it is or thought it was, you're not being paid anymore. And that dynamic can ruin a consulting business. So this simple 3-step process, first of all, acknowledging that what they really want, they do not know. That's why they're talking to an expert. They're talking to you. So your job is to help them figure out the pain versus the decision. Which pain? Who owns it? Which decision? Who owns it? And then you've got to be honest. And can you solve this problem in an excellent way? This discipline will not only make it easier for you to figure out who you should be working with, but it'll also raise the value of every engagement that you have. So use it. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't yet. Look forward to talking with you soon. It doesn't stand alone. It doesn't promote itself. It doesn't attract clients in some magical way. A real step-by-step content marketing funnel with your big idea, your transformational productized service that you bring to you, because this is the improved model about how to follow up and close these high-level